So in my last video, I spoke to you guys about the top 10 things that I love about Booktube. I went back about a year or so ago and looked at my thoughts then and compared them to how I feel now a year later. Today, we are doing the opposite. This is the one that is the most highly requested of both of them, without a doubt, and that is the top 10 things that I don't like about Booktube. I feel like I probably have changed my mind on at least some of these things, but we're not going to know till we check them out. So let's get right in. We're going to be going back and forth between me in August of 2020 to me now. So let's go back to 2020 and see what came in at number 10. Intros to videos. Oh, I just don't think they're necessary. Yeah, intros. Okay, so I've slightly changed my mind about this. I'm kind of now on the fence about this one. It really depends on a number of factors. First of all, how long is the intro? If the intro goes for 30 seconds, I'm not a fan. If the intro isn't that necessary, I'm not a fan. It just really depends on all different things. But also at the same time, I discovered this wonderful thing in the past year to do with YouTube in general, and that is that if you are watching a video and you quickly tap your screen twice, it fast forwards 10 seconds. So if you have an intro that goes for 30 seconds and you double tap your screen 3 times, you move straight past the intro and get straight into the video. So it doesn't annoy me as much as it used to, but I just don't necessarily think that they are necessary. So on the side of it being a necessity, I do still agree with that, but I'm a lot less against it than I was this time a year ago. Coming in at number 9. Booktubers talking about the pressure to read. Yeah, the implied notion that there is pressure on booktubers to read. I still actually agree with this, although I have to say that this is something that I have not seen anywhere near as much as I did in comparison to at that point in August of 2020. It could be because of the booktubers I was watching back then as a comparison to the booktubers I'm watching now, and I think that will cover a lot of different things, especially things that I don't see as much or things I'm changing my mind on, because I'm a lot more firm in my stance of who I want to subscribe to and whose videos I want to watch, and we'll talk about that as we move along. But as far as implied pressure, there was a lot of discussion about this very, very early on. There is still a bit of discussion as far as pressure that has been placed onto booktubers. But specifically with this point, I was referring to pressure being placed onto booktubers to read, and I don't feel that it's there as much as people say that it is. I think if you're going to have a booktube channel and you're going to create videos, the only requirement is that you have read, because booktube is talking about books, and so it's kind of hard to talk about a book if you haven't read it, unless, I don't know, you're just doing book hauls all the time and reading off of the blurb, but still you're reading the blurb. I don't feel that there is any booktuber out there that is literally saying you must do this, you must do that, if you don't do this you can't be a booktube creator. So to me it's something that I feel is not pressure that booktubers place onto each other. Coming in at number 8. Organising any type of buddy read days into the month. Yeah, so organising any type of buddy read days into the month. Okay, so I'm again on two sides of the fence with this one. As far as it happening, yeah, it's still something that I don't like about not only Booktube, although when we're talking about Booktube, it does happen here. So I don't want to give Booktube an unnecessary bad name by saying that it's only happening on Booktube. It's not, but it does happen on Booktube. So as far as it happening, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And so for me on my channel, something that I've started becoming accustomed to, because I do host my own buddy reads. Quick shout out to my Discord. link in the description below, I actually announced the buddy reads that are coming up for the next month a fortnight, 2 weeks in advance. The reason why I do this is the same reason why I don't like that others who do buddy reads announce them days into the month, and that is because people need time to procure these books. Whether you want to read it as an ebook, whether you want to read it physically or listen to it as an audio book, I feel personally, and this is just a personal opinion, that it's bad form to announce buddy reads days into a month, especially when you have readers who plan their month in advance. And especially for people like myself who are Booktube creators, we like to do our monthly TBRs, and of course we do try to film our monthly TBRs right before the end of the month so you guys can see them right away, as early as possible into the month. Because of all this, it just stands to reason that our TBRs for the month are locked in by the time we get to the end of the month. So then to find out days into the month when we've already locked ours in, and for me it could be 12 to 13 books, that you want me to buddy read with you, but in order to do so it has to be in that month. I then have to go out and purchase an extra book, add it to my TBR, create more stress and pressure on myself to read. No. Number 7, Pleading potential subscribers to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hit all those notifications. Seriously, to me this is such a turn off. Now, there are some people who do it well. I don't mind those who are genuinely making a point saying, look, if you enjoyed this video, I would like it if you could like or subscribe, because it really does help my channel. So if you want to, please leave a like. That would be nice. I don't mind that. But the whole fabricated routine of, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and like and follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And my links are here. Yeah, okay, I do remember this one, and I remembered it before I started watching the video is what I mean, and going back a year ago. So, again, this is something that really more propped up back then because of booktubers that I was subscribed to who were doing this sort of thing, and it very much annoyed me because they go on and on and on about asking their, well, they ask so much from their subscribers, which to me is something that I have an issue with, but also it just becomes very annoying in any case. I don't like it. Coming in at number 6, we have not doing a TBR because you don't read 12 books a month. Yeah, so I did kind of cover this a little bit when I spoke about the pressures to read on Booktube, but this is being more specific and having a more zoomed in, laser focused view on a particular type of video, monthly TBRs. Unfortunately, this is something that I have seen. It's not something that I've necessarily seen recently. In fact, I'm very happy to say that ever since I've started my my hashtag Bring Back Mr. Fancy's Home Shopping Network and my hashtag Bring Back TBRs, that TBRs are starting to come back. So I appreciate that. But I certainly have, let's just put it this way, empathetically felt on behalf of other booktubers that one of the reasons why they didn't do monthly TBRs at the time, things have changed over the course of time with Booktube since then, but at that time was because of the amount of books that were on their TBR not holding up to what the big booktubers did. So I do read 12 to 13 books per month because that is something that I can do. But believe you me, if I could only fit in 5 books a month or even 2 or 1, I'd still want to do a TBR video. This point that I was making about things I don't like about Booktube when it comes to TBRs and not doing them because you don't have enough books is something that I'm coming to you from the creator perspective as well as the viewer perspective. I said it then and I'm going to say it again now because I still believe it to this day. If you only have 1 book on your TBR for the month, please still do a monthly TBR and send me the link. I want to see a TBR with 1 book. I want to see a TBR with 2 books. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Coming in at number 5 is the insistence that an ebook or an audiobook is not reading. To those who say this, get over it. Shush, enough. No one wants to hear it anymore. I'm going to leave the link to my full original video in the description below. We just don't have time for me to show you everything. But to this point, okay, which is that there are people out there on Booktube that are saying that ebooks and audiobooks don't count as reading. I made a big stink as well as fuss about this when I was talking about it last year. And now that I'm seeing it again, I still feel that same anger about it, but I haven't seen it anywhere near as much as I used to. I think people are starting to understand that some people just can't consume a book any other way. For some people, there are barriers to them physically reading a physical book. And so the only way they may be able to consume it is through an audiobook. And for others, they may not be able to get a hold of a physical book. And so the only way they can consume it is through an ebook. And there were issues last year. I saw a number, and it wasn't just one or two. I saw a number of videos with booktubers either standing up for those who don't traditionally read a physical book, and then I saw a number of videos of those who are having issues if you don't traditionally physically read a physical book. And it's just something that not only do I not get on board with, but I just don't accept that. Coming in at number 4, the idea that booktube videos need to be 10 minutes or less. I completely disagree. Okay, yay! So I've come across one that we can strike out. So this shows how things have changed with Booktube over the course of a year. Back then, yes, that was the case. It was more towards, and just to reiterate the point again, it is that Booktube videos need to be 10 minutes or less. It was more towards attention spans of viewers, and that viewers wouldn't dream of clicking on a video that is more than, say, 20 minutes long. Things have definitely changed. I think the bigger booktubers have definitely influenced this change. They've started realizing, I don't want to say it's because of my video. Booktubers are now famously doing longer videos than they were back in 2020 in August, and I really do appreciate that. It's funny because for me, I've done the exact opposite. I've gone from really long videos to learning how to cut videos, and so now I have a goal to try and make my videos around the 15-minute mark, and sometimes I appreciate the fact that it's more condensed so it takes less time to watch, and at other times I wish they were longer because I've cut out certain things, but I can understand both sides. Number 3, booktubers that are not being authentic. I understand that, especially particularly with new booktubers, if you're very nervous coming in front of a camera and talking to everyone, I get that things are going to happen if you're nervous. I do. You might laugh and go, hi, my name is Joe and I'm starting my booktube. That's fine. I think that's adorable. If you're nervous, that's fine. But there are booktubers that aren't authentic, and it is so easy to see. They'll start off their videos saying, hi guys, my name is so-and-so, and today I'm going to be talking about this book. And then suddenly they'll go, yes, because this book is amazing. Ooh. Yeah, we know how I feel about this because we spoke about this with the top 10 things I like about Booktube. If there's just one thing, not even word, well, it is a word because it's the word yes, but if there's one sound that can follow you an entire year, that's the one that it was for me, with the yes. But yeah, definitely at the time I was seeing booktubers that were doing this, and so that was definitely something that would make the list. I don't see it anymore these days, which I really appreciate. So to stick to the point, my third point was, I don't like when booktubers are being inauthentic, and I don't find that as much anymore with the booktubers that I follow, again, because of how I how I go about choosing who I'm going to subscribe to or who I'm going to follow. If someone comes across as being inauthentic, I'm not going to follow them anymore. And so I don't see that stuff anymore. It doesn't come up for me because I'm not subscribed to them. I don't hit that bell or like them on Facebook or ding 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 ding. Coming in at number 2, bookshelf tours that take forever. And now it's time for Mr. Francie's famous controversial moment of 2020. Yes, I was the one talking about bookshelf tours going on for way too long. I talked about this, I think, enough in my last video, the top 10 things I like about Booktube, and I actually edited in showing you guys what I meant by the boom 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 one book at a time. So if you have not seen that video, then I'll leave a link to it in the description so you can check that out over there. But for those of you who have, you know what I'm referring to. This was just a personal preference for me. I think I got maybe a little bit too angry and just probably got a little too caught up in my emotions. It was just something that I didn't like seeing. And I love bookshelf tours. I just wish that more people did it the way that I learnt to do it. If you're going to take an hour to pull out every single book and discuss them, I can't promise you that I'm going to sit through the entire video. Now, if you're going to talk for an hour about a book that I love, that's a different story because that will keep me engrossed and entertained. But if you're going to do a bookshelf tour that takes an hour long because you're spending so many minutes on every single book, it is going to get to the point where I just can't keep watching. Now it is time to get on to number 1. The number 1 thing that grinds my gears. Coming in at number 1 out of all the top 10 things I don't like about Booktube is anything unrelated to the topic that you are discussing or that you have advertised that you are discussing, little disclaimer here, outside of reading vlogs. Yeah, okay, whoa. I could rant back in the day, and I know this because recently I watched one of my Heroes of Olympus reviews that went up half an hour, and with this one too, I had one point, and I think I took like 15 minutes to make that point, so let's be concise about this. Coming in at number 1 in 2020 of August, of the things that I don't like about Booktube, was including things in your videos that you are not advertising that you're going to include. So, I had a story back then, and again, I'm going to really condense that story down. At the time, I came across a booktuber who was going to do a book tag. It took them 10 minutes to get to that book tag because they were talking about makeup from the moment they started all the way to the 10-minute mark when they finally got onto the Booktube tag. Nowhere in the title, nowhere in the description, nowhere in their about section at all do they say, I'm going to talk about makeup. And so that really annoyed me. It annoyed me to the point that I watched the full 10 minutes till they got to the book tag because I wanted to see how long it would take them to finally get there. I think that, tangents and going on a tangent is fine if you're doing a reading vlog. I did say this last year and I still think that holds up to this day because a reading vlog is casual. But when you are doing a standard video where you are doing a monthly wrap, a TBR, a review, a book tag, and you spend 10 minutes talking about something that you haven't even suggested that you are going to talk about anywhere, not in your title, not in your description, not even in your about section, yeah, that's going to get to me because I did not click on your video to watch you talk about makeup because makeup isn't even in the title. And the funniest thing is, had makeup been in the title, I would not have clicked on your video because I don't watch makeup videos. I would have been able to find the book tag somewhere else. So to me, I'm very sorry to take a harsh line on this, but what I call that is false advertising. If you don't have it anywhere on your thumbnail or in your title or in your description that you're going to do something, and then you take 10 minutes to do that thing that you are not even suggesting that you're going to do, that's a significant portion of your video, and that is absolutely going to annoy me and make me start to wonder, was this actually clickbait? There are some booktubers who do paid sponsorships. One of my favourite booktubers, who is a big booktuber, who I'm sure you probably know, will actually say somewhere within the first minute of their video, if it is sponsored, a quick shout out to our sponsor, spend 10 seconds talking about it, and then say, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. I appreciate that, because then it gives you the opportunity, once you get to what they are actually talking about in that video, if you don't want to see the sponsored stuff, you don't have to. But that is it. Those are the top 10 things that I don't like about Booktube, taking a look back to what I thought a year ago and updating you guys on what I think now, a year later. If you have any comments, thoughts or questions regarding anything that I brought up today, please do not hesitate to leave them in the comments section below, because I'm more than happy to go into further detail with you and discuss it openly with you if you would like. Please remember that I did not mean to offend anyone. If you do something that I don't necessarily like, this is a personal opinion video that I'm making that is literally my own opinion. So there are people out there who will probably highly disagree with me, and then there'll be people out there who agree with me, which thank you. But you get my point. I'm not trying to say you're a bad person and you're wrong and da-da-da. I'm just saying this is how I personally feel about it. But in the meantime, letting you guys go with peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah! Thank you so much again for watching. Lots of love, you guys, and happy reading!